Johnson, and this is Focus on Liberia. Hit it! From Cape Mount to Cape Palmas, Mount Nimba to Atlantic Ocean, Obomi Hills to Pocondre, to educate, elevate, and promote. Yeah, focus on Liberia. For Liberia, Liberia. For Liberia, yeah, 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 yeah. From Monday to Sunday. From Monday to Sunday. It's focus on Liberia. Talk about home affairs. Hey. In diaspora. Current affairs. Hey. Reliable information. History. Ooh. Talking about culture. Yeah. Politics. Education. Entertainment. Yeah. Business. Sports. Advertisement. Articulation. Focus on Liberia. Focus on Liberia.
At Focus on Liberia, we discuss everything Liberia, from education to politics, arts and culture, entertainment, agriculture, history, religion, family, and technology. Focus on Liberia uncovers and showcases the best of Liberia and shows the world the truth about Liberia. We educate, elevate, and promote all things Liberia. We conduct interviews, panel discussions, debates, and more. Tune in to Focus on Liberia on Facebook and YouTube and be a part of the stories that make up the news.
This is Focus on Liberia, and I am Dennis Ja.
And I am Ansonisye, and a pleasant welcome to Focus on Liberia. This is our program, On Point. On Point is a politically opinionated debate forum here at Focus on Liberia, always and always moderated and hosted by Jerome Gilman with his code of lieutenants who are always highly political and robust in discussing national issues here at Focus on Liberia. This is yet another exciting and stimulating edition. We want to welcome all our viewers across the globe, including London, England, where our good friend Dr. Fida Body is joining us from. Gentlemen, I will get to you individually. Let me welcome our viewers across the globe. Please do us a favor here. Share the broadcast with somebody. We have very important topics, all political, and you Liberian love politics, so we got the politics well packaged for you to discuss. Seated and ready is my good friend Aliyu Kamara, who is a Bwaka supporter. He likes me. I don't know why, but I don't like him that much. Aliyu, it's good to see you. He's joining us from the city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. That is Philadelphia. How you doing, my good friend?
Well, I'm in Maryland.
You are in Maryland. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's always good to be on here. It's a lively program because it's hosted by lively people. And what the college people can say, alma mater, Focus on Liberia is always like an alma mater to me. Even when I'm out, I can't help but watch whatever is going on. And I'm glad to be here sharing this platform with all of these noble people.
Thank you. And let me welcome my good friend, Dr. Fida Bodi, joining us from England, all the way from Queensland. How you doing, brother?
Thank you, Mr. C. Always good to be here. Great to have you on the show. And yeah, looking forward to another provocative evening with the fellas.
And we have the veteran in the room. J. Victor Namwe is a known progressive with an impressive resume when it comes to discussing politics and governance, advocacy, and you name it, in Liberia. J. Vic, I will call you, with affection. How you doing, big brother?
Hey, what's up, my brother? And what's up to my piggy, Alio? Let me call him my piggy. Alio, come on, come back now. I'm waiting for you. But that was a joke. It's good to be with you. But listen, this must be one of the best times to be in the Philadelphia region. My Sixers are stacked. LeBron James, UAB, and the team ready to start the season. My Eagles are stacked.
You want to know what we say in Miami?
Man, please let me enjoy my glory.
Leave the man alone.
I know what you're saying, Miami. Y'all got the best uniform and the best, dress team.
F LeBron. That's what they say.
Ali, you didn't start burning jerseys yet. And now, my fellas have started to find their mojo.
Yeah.
We are excited in my region. It's good to be with you all.
All right.
You forgot to mention this weekend. What's going on in your hometown?
We'll talk about that. I think the CDC and its former president are in my backyard. I think they have a new team, a new corps of leadership. I think Talita, Sheriff, and the team, I think they have been replaced. I think that is on the menu for today. So we'll talk about that. I've had lots of people texting me, why they not go, but we'll talk about that. But congratulations to the CDC. Then they have a new team. The former president has finally made it clear that he's going to be on the ballot for 2029. And so we're excited about that. I think the more we get voices like George Weah in the opposition community, it's a good thing. He has the largest microphone in Liberia in the opposition community. I have just been really bothered by his lackadaisical attitude towards the opposition. It's not a part-time engagement, but I'm happy that he has come out to say he's going to be on stage for 2029. We're ready to go.
We are ready to go. Let us introduce the topics, and then we'll bring in the moderator for the day, the man Jaron Gilman. So on the menu, we have former president Weah declares intent to run for the presidency. Weah was not, ambiguous. He was not. He was very much unambiguous, and he said it clearly that he will be a candidate come 2029. We will dissect that. Also on the menu, drugs get destroyed before the case goes to court. The Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency leading the charge in destroying the drugs seized by the entire security apparatus in Liberia got burned completely, as we saw in flames. We had the police chief there with other law enforcement professionals and executives. They told us before cameras, and we saw it, that they burned the drug. That there are others that say, no, these guys are playing games. What they burn over there, not actually the drugs. But we will dissect it today. Also on the menu, His Excellency, as the Liberian people love to say, President Joseph Yuma Bwaka takes action against major government officials suspected of being involved in the drugs trafficking. President Bwaka suspended, dismissed some government officials in the security apparatus is being alleged have significant involvement in providing corridor, aiding and abetting the traffickers or drug dealers who carry the huge quantity of drugs in our country. If the president up to the task, we will dissect that. Also, and finally, on the menu, former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf calls on the present government to do better, sparkling internal wrangling within the Unity Party. Some members of the Unity Party said the position taken by the former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is not too kind to the Unity Party, and her statement undermines what the Unity Party is doing. For they believe the Unity Party is carrying on a responsible leadership in Liberia. Well, those are the topics for today. The man in charge is my good friend, Jaron Gilman. Jaron, it's over to you. Let's get started.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to bring you, before we go into the topic, a funny video that is trending. The Honorable Musa Hassan Bility was on his way to the United States, and you could see him carry his luggage himself. He said he does not want any security, no NSA, no police, no LDA, nobody touching his bag because he's afraid the country is infested, that someone is going to put drug in his luggage to embarrass him, to catch him. So he told them, Musa Hassan Bility, will carry my own luggage. No more escort, no more that. That says a lot about the nature of our reputation. When this government came to power, they said, we want to make this, the Republic of Liberia, back. Make Liberia great again by being great on the international stage, being respectable. So 3 years later, we are going to dissect whether it is true when a member of the Republic, the leadership himself, Honorable Hassan Musa Bility, can say it is so bad. I don't trust even my own police officers, the LDEA. I will take my own load to and from. That says a lot. But let's go to this. We have our special guest here today, Mr. Anthony C. will be here. You know, sometimes people say we are biased, either against or for the administration. But if Aliu is here, he represents the government. So how can we be biased against the government? So Mr. Sia is here today. He's going to be the referee. He's going to ask some of the tough questions, but he's going to make sure that we don't massacre the opposition, or that the opposition doesn't massacre us. So we're going to go into the topic. Let me start with Mr. Sia, saying he's the new kid on the block. Mr. Sia, what is the advantage of the former president making this announcement 3 years in advance? What do you think spurred him on to do so?
Thank you, Mr. Goodman. Let us establish that the name George Weah is a brand. Politically speaking, George Weah, that name is also a movement, as we all seen with CDC. And we can all debate whether or not he has been up to the task of a leader befitting a country that needs robust leadership. And I tell you this much, George Weah is my own Sastan brother. I question George Weah's ability to lead our country in a transformative way. But let us not make a mistake. George Weah is loved. George Weah is celebrated. George Weah is popular. And politically in Liberia, he's relevant. Why? Because many Liberians, the story of George Weah is 100% their story. He is a direct representation of who we are as a country, especially those of us we refer to as the masses, the downtrodden, the poor people, children. Weah is an example. And Weah himself did some things, and, to bring this kind of cloud to him. He lived a humble life from nowhere. In his profession, he succeeded. And so coming to politics, he became a force. He became a movement. He carried the pains, the frustration of majority of the ordinary people in Liberia. And so because he is who they are, they want to see him to be the leader of our country. Do I agree with that? I answer and say, no. I mean, that's part of the love, but he cannot translate that political capital he has that is profound into robust leadership that our country needs. I don't think my good brother, George Weah, has it in him. And so for him to have declared, and given that he carries so much political capital, is going on for 2029. And we are now, we're not going to speculate whether or not he will run or not, but we wait to see. President Weah is the leader of the biggest political party in Liberia, the CDC. It's going on, my friend. That's how I see it.
Dr. Booty, what play the political strategist here? If you were in George Weah camp or you were in the opposition camp, what will you make of this decision?
I think first of all, let me just clarify that I would rather George Weah didn't put his hat in the race. I think I've said on the show multiple times that 20 some years of CDC/Unity Party is enough for Liberia, because they have, the evidence is not convincing that they know what they need to do to transform our country. So awarding or rewarding either of them, whether it be the CDC or the Unity Party, with another 6 years post 2029, will be another error on the part of the Liberian people. And that's my position. To answer your question, George Weah has and Mr. C is 100% correct, right? Irrespective of the fact that we all, well, not all of us, some of us on here believe from the evidence that we saw that George Weah was not a good president for Liberia. He lost the election by 20,000 votes, right? He didn't lose the election by 100,000, right? It wasn't a decisive mandate for Joseph Boakai. So closing the gap, 20,000 gap, is not as major as people might think, especially with some of the issues that we're witnessing in Liberia right now. So him winning against a Joseph Boakai is very plausible. I'll say highly plausible. But if I was advising George Weah, look, I think he needs to demonstrate to Liberians that he took 3 years to think about 6 years that he was in power. And he can then admit to the Liberian people where he believed he went wrong, suggest to us as Liberians how he believes he can change the things that he did wrong so that they don't occur again in his next presidency if he's entrusted by the Liberian people. And to do that, I would want to see new blood. And when I say new blood, I mean serious people, not the kind of people that he had around him then and still has around him now. He needs to bring people in who are serious, who can communicate to people like myself and you all on here what his agenda is for Liberia, his day one to day 100 agenda. Not this rhetoric that Joseph Boakai came up with, talking about roles. There will be all roles. There's no rule. People won't get stuck in mud. After 100 days, 3 years later, we're still getting stuck in mud, right? We're not talking about this. We're talking about clear financial plans. Like, okay, this is how we intend to reduce the waste in government, right? We're going to cut salaries and benefits and expenditures in the executive, for example. We're going to then repurpose that money into agriculture development, something that Mr. Kamara has always been calling for on the show. And Mr. Eastman, welcome. And tell me how he's going to push the legislature to cut their salaries and benefits as well, and then repurpose that money for healthcare. A very good friend of mine died recently in Liberia, the gospel artist Miracle Kettle, and apparently the health sector had a contributing factor in her death, because when she went from one to the other, they couldn't provide her the necessary support that she needed to be cared for. So those are the kind of things I would need to see. Change the people around him, admit where he went wrong. Because again, Mr. Gaiman, all of us in here, especially those of us who've led people before and then made mistakes, the first thing you need to do is reflect on your leadership and then identify where you went wrong, so that in the future you don't do those things again. But you need to communicate those things to the Liberian people, and one way is by changing because everyone around him are rotting. They need to go, and he needs to bring in new and fresh blood to demonstrate that, okay, maybe these guys are thinking more about the Liberian people and not just about power.
Victor, some would say no matter what Weah does, Weah can never win, because when the folks say bring in people, those with the narrative, those with the money, those with fame, they want you to go all the way back to 1980. They talk about names, they talk about personality. If we have brought in CA, brought in Booty, brought in Aliu, they would say it's not enough. You didn't bring in Johnson, you didn't bring in Capel, you didn't bring, the same old people with the narrative, those with the bigger bullhorn. You become president today, you don't bring those names in, they will say you got nobody.
Well, look, I think there's some truth to the speculation that you're announcing, and I think all of us, you need a team. But I will agree with most of what Dr. Booty is saying, and also what Mr. C said. I think, although they both are, talking in opposite ends, I'll say this: I think the individual George Weah, right? I don't know of anybody in Liberia who is more likable than George Weah. He's an icon. You understand me? Myself included. I have a lot of love for him. But and I'm happy that he's coming back into the opposition active. I believe that George Weah were engaged as he should have been. We wouldn't have lost Kofa. I don't care about the present Kofa, but I think the manner and form in which the brazen violation of the Constitution of Liberia that this president presided over and removed a sitting speaker without consequences. I don't think that would have happened. Musa Ability tried to fight it. We had the rule of law caucus and all of that. But we needed that additional voice, and that has been lacking for a while. And we're doing the best we can to build our own base. We will continue to do that. But I believe if the president had been as engaged as he should have been, the former president, we wouldn't have some of the problems that we're having today. We need a robust opposition, and that is why I welcome him back into the fold. Now, whether he's going to win or not, I don't know. I don't want him to win because I want what he wants. So I'm not going to wish that he wins. I want Musa Ability to win because I'm supporting him through the CMC. Now, the president, I believe, and this is where I agree with Dr. Booty, I think he presided over a government that produced the most sanctioned government officials in the history of Liberia. He refused to act. We believe that he was confronted with the evidence of the thievery that was happening under his watch. He just failed or was unable to act. And that is a mark against him that people are not going to forget easily. He was in a mansion and Natana McGill was running the government. Tuawe was running the government. Koji was running the government. Tua was running the government. But where was the president who was elected to run the government? So that kind of administrative style is going to be difficult to get him back into the mansion. But we will see because, we still have time on our hands. Now, as I'm about to give it back to you, I'll say this. It is also possible that he tolerated all of this because he was broke. When George Weah came into the race, we understand he was broke already. He spent all of his football money. He didn't have much. So he depended on some of these people to prop him up. But now that he has acquired enough wealth and, the family is doing well, I'm hoping that he will break free of this insulation. And, he was cocooned in. And these parasites, the likes of Eugene Nambwe and the rest of them, Eugene Nambwe was a part of every government from Taylor time. He's been in every government. And people like him they are liability, excess baggage. And I hope the president, if he intends to do well this time around, he'll be man enough to shake most of them free. But again, we look forward to him coming back into the fold so that the opposition will be the opposition that it is supposed to be. A strong and robust opposition that will continue to checkmate this government. This government is doing a lot of damage to our people. Some of the damage they're doing will be irreversible. And I think it's about time that we rally all of the forces necessary to stop them. I mean, look at the quantity of drugs that is flooding our markets. Kush is over there. I just reading Leonard Dudu. Since these people came in, Kush has increased by 80%. What are you laughing about? But back to you, Jerome.
Yes, I saw him in the ghetto with the people, and he was doing
Thank you very much.
informal research. Aliu.
Yeah.
what I'm a supporter of CMC, so
I
I got to
know.
be upfront. Now, what does it do to the makeup of the opposition?
I mean, the language they were laughing. It's just amazing how they can get through. Anyway, look, first thing foremost, let me tell the audience that Musa Berede was holding an old suitcase because he trying to manage. It not because somebody posted a bell. He trying to cut costs. Yeah, is it all the entourage costing you too much money? So now you guys saying holding your money. And why is that Musa Berede walking with a bell by himself? No, Musa Berede is not to any security. Oh man,
Maybe
you know.
you're afraid of
So
the Nigerian government.
so anyway, John Weah, the announcement John Weah made, the first thing I thought about was Alexander coming. I felt bad for coming. What happened was immediately John Weah said that he dashed Alexander Coming hope. Alexander got no more chance. So a lot of people were thinking that Alexander Coming were going to go through the CDC. But now I think he had 1.6% all the time. I think it now dropped to 0.0006 because Arizona Company finished. But all in all, look, George Weah, like Anthony said, George Weah is a household name. And I think it is his right as a Liberian citizen to decide to come back in the race if he so wish. Now it's different than what it was in 2017 because he has a record now to defend. So we will see what happened based on the output of the United Party. George Weah might have a chance, depending on the overall result of the United Party. But from what I see and what I know as far as how fast this government is moving in terms of infrastructure, now there are other issues that they need to touch. I think they're overlooking, and those are the major issues that drive the voters. We are hoping that they will try to attack those as well as they're attacking the roads. They're
Like
doing
what?
very
Like what?
well because inflation. You build road, full lane road from St. Paul Bridge to Bow Waterside, but if somebody can't afford to get the bus that takes them to Bow Waterside, I mean, they will not look at the road. They will look at the fact that they don't have money to even go to Bow Waterside. So that could cut into your support. So hopefully they look at some of those things. I'll just give you that one as an example. Burger rice have always been $25 or $30 from the time I've known myself. It's around the same price if you're buying a 50 kg. So if they can do things to actually make commodities so surplus on the market that it determines or drive the prices of those commodities, we're talking downward, George Weah has no chance. And until that happens, we look forward to him coming. He's a great Liberian. He has actually left his mark in Liberia. I'm not sure whether he can do anything more than what he's already done. But we're glad to see him back in the race, and we will defeat him for the second time.
Honorable Eastman, let me go back to some of the things that this administration held the previous administration for. Joseph Boyka said that road we will eat.
Joseph Boyka said that?
Joseph Boyka said that. Cummings said that it's that road they will eat. They were talking about employment. The unemployment was very high. They needed to bring jobs, take the case of the street. Those are the bread and butter issues. And Joseph Boyka, 3 years in, he looked at he's caught up into the same choir and saying the same song that George Weah was singing, roll, roll, roll. And now people have flipped it and said, well, Joseph Weah, that roll we eat. Your take on George Weah return to power, or his announcement, his declaration. You are muted.
Thank you for allowing me to come on. I'm sorry, gentlemen, I had other tasks I had to complete, but what makes me...
Wait, Jimmy Eastman, are you not retired? Why are you working so hard?
I'm not. There's some things you have to do. What makes me laugh when Aliu laughs. He says Cummings will be affected. Everybody's affected. Let me let you know. George Weah remains the most formidable potential candidate for 2029 because he brings three advantages that no other opposition party has. One, he has a nationwide political organization, which is the CDC, an intensely loyal grassroots support base that cuts across counties, cuts across demographics, and unmatched. Then he has this unmatched name recognition. Okay, no one else has that. I don't. You can go. You name them. No one has that. And then, lastly, he still has a recognition of his celebrity and all of that. So everybody is going to be affected by his entering the race. And right now, even the Unity Party knows very well that he could easily unseat them, given he plays his cards right. But let's go to the aspect of the roads. We have always mentioned that infrastructure is very important, but it has to happen simultaneously with other things. In other words, if you're going to build a road, you have to build the support for that road in commerce, in industry, where the people's livelihood will improve along with the building of that road. It has to be a coordinated effort so that you realize the greatest benefit. You're right. If somebody, what Ali was saying, the person doesn't have bus fare, they're not going to think about a good road. You got to you have to improve the economics of those environments. That's what the road is, and sometimes it is slower. It happens eventually, but sometimes you need to put a catalyst. You need to do something else to spur more economic activity in that corridor where the road is being put. And so that's why it requires not just people who know how to build, but also community planning to see how best we can absorb the benefits of that road and facilitate the commerce in that road as well, so people's livelihood would change. So if I get back to the George issue thing, what he has to do is he has to address some of his criticism. We do know that he like what you guys say, there was some degree of absenteeism on his part. There was some degree of he was not taking certain matters seriously. People were bemused by his not addressing the public enough on critical issues. He was too aloof. He's going to have to be more hands-on, and he's going to have to promote himself as such. Because you can bet UP will nail the fact that all of the things he was doing wrong, they're going to nail him up on the cross with all those other things. So he has some convincing to do. But I think it is healthy because we in an era. Let's face it, we have good candidates in the race. Cummings is a good candidate. Simeon, what's his name?
Simeon Freeman.
Freeman is an excellent candidate.
I'm at a humble. You see the way they're going to dress?
Yeah, he's an excellent candidate. We have good people. We have Musa Ability, who is showing he's a very good entrepreneur in the country. But to ascend to that office, is going to be a lot more than just having a few eggs in your basket. And so maybe we'll see some more mergers forging ahead. I definitely know no one party can win it. It's been unequivocally proven that you need to have a coalition before you will win it. But how will this evolve is what we're looking at now, and it's going to be very interesting as I see it, because one thing the UP has, they'll be running against themselves. UP will be running against their own track record. All the drug situation, the the UPS being accused of having more, giving more prudence to certain people for certain counties. There's that. So it's going to be a good dynamic. And it's about time. I mean, we have to get it out of the system. So the fact that George Weah is in the, I think it's part of our evolution. And I'm excited to see what may happen in 2029.
Excellent. Let me go back to Anthony. Anthony, is Eastmore right when he says the entrance into politics by George Weah affects everybody? I mean, all the political parties. I mean, he don't scramble everything.
I think Jimmy is on point, well pointed and accurate assessment. And I even classify that as a well pointed analysis. Yes, it affects everyone who intend to get in the race, more so President Walker. We talk about name recognition in politics. Veteran number will tell us it matters. And if anyone has the most pronounced name recognition in our country in terms of politics, that's Josh Weah, President Weah. The next person to him is our current president, Mr. Joseph Walker. But Weah, his own, is robustly loyal to him, and it is organic. Look, imagine it this way, Jerome. Imagine if George Weah was just 5% a charismatic leader. He will have no match. George Weah, as a person, naturally, he's a laid-back character. And look at the organic movement around him. Just the name Weah, who he is, his story alone. Imagine if he could only project just 5% of charismatic leadership. No one will come close politically. Because even his supporters, because they love him, even though he does not inspire them as a leader with his words, something he does not have, he himself has acknowledged that, his supporters are willing to fill in that gap for the love they have for him. And now he entering in the race. Somebody talk about absenteeism, that he's not there. A George Weah can just be present politically as an opposition leader. Because if this guy was as brave as Mobile Molo, we will say it's over. We're just waiting for the announcement. And but again, we all don't have everything. That's who we are is. But leadership requires that you make adjustment for your own success. You make amends. You listen to criticism. And you make the necessary adjustment because it is a competition. And if anyone is a competitor who has experienced, competitiveness, if I can use that word, that is Josh Weah. He was on the field. He did it all. And so if he can bring that very competitive spirit to politics, knowing that he's a politician and he has to abide by all of the dynamics of politics, if he can do that, I think it would be very clear that Josh Weah is not just only a formidable candidate, but he will be a winning formidable candidate in the race. So yes, to answer your question, his coming in the race affects everybody. It affects Cummings standing, it affects Joseph Walker standing, and all other persons like Musa Bedete and Fremont and other people, they will just fall in line. Only if we can display, some level of charismatic leadership. At his convention, he talked about reconciliation. I hope he's serious about that, right? And Big Brother Jay Victor now will talk about also he trying to mend the fences. Someone talk about the faces we saw before that became almost like a drag on the CDC movement, the Eugene Namwe, Samuel Twe. I'm not impressed with Samuel Twe. He's just a good talker, all right? But in CDC, they see him as their local strategist. I don't think Samuel Twe is strong when it comes to strategy. I'm a better strategist than Samuel Twe. He's just a talking head, and I will say that uprightly. All right, he's my great brother. I'm not a coward. And so if we is able to know the strength of his team, and I think it's Fidel who said, look, we want him to bring in new faces. If on a CDC, or we are as the leader of the opposition CDC, can broaden the tent and bring in new faces, all right, and have a, what is the word, a diversity of characters, of individuals, political actors in the CDC, where he relaxes and then he throw his little punches here and there in a more aggressive way, I think everybody will fall in line. And so I can't say this much. Jimmy said it right. His entering in the race, I mean, look at the election result. 20,000 votes, narrowly. All right? And that's how he lost the election. And if the Unity Party has some things as baggage now they are picking up, the deficit far exceed 20,000 votes. So George, we are, should be in a most standing position now. And now if he puts a coalition together, and I'm going to speak bluntly here, that includes a Cummings, who is now fighting to be number one on the ticket. He spoke recently and he was clear. He said even if it would mean that he would be just a cowboy, paraphrasing here, he will be on that team. If that happens, I don't care about regional balance and people talking about war, Cummings and we are come from Southeast. No, the Constitution is clear. You cannot come from the same county. It will not matter. If you look at what's his name, Jeremiah Kuhn and now President Bwaka, they come from the northern part. And they were able to win because at the time, it was a change campaign. And the campaign will always be unchanged. So it will not matter whether the two candidates come from the Southeast. It will matter that you have a unified opposition with a better message, strong enough to counter the narrative of the Unity Party. And the Unity Party, they have some things going on for them. Let me conclude on this. But it will be difficult for them to operationalize and sustain these things to the election because they will not have all the money. Bernie Sanders guy talking about asking for $51 million to operationalize the yellow machines. They have 2.5 years to do so. Operationalize the yellow machine operation so much so that it's felt in every country. Can they do that? Can they sustain that without any scandal? They are putting all the chiefs on payroll. Can they sustain that? Maybe that's the easy one. They can sustain that. And many other things that they can sustain to see whether they can be able to, keep the CDC, under control politically. But this is politics now on the move. And I will be there to watch it all along and we'll do the analysis as we go on. And someone said something that I said before, right? I think I heard that it's Jeremiah Kuhn that said it. He said that if the CDC can pace Cummings, they will have a hard time. And if the Cummings people are listening, maybe it's an opportunity for them because we are in a race. Cummings stand no chance. I mean, they know that. I rest my case.
Thank you very much. Let me welcome Gabriel Carter. Let me welcome Anthony Gay. Anthony Gay, welcome to the show. What is that?
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
From Gay.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you, the Labrador Scout. You salute now. Before I go to Gabriel here, let me go to you. Wea is back in the race.
One second, Mr. Gabriel, with 2 minutes now. So cut the talking time. Put your clock up. No more than 2 minutes, man.
Okay, 2 minutes. Okay, guys, fair enough. Anthony Gay. I think there were several folks that were in the room. Guys, please mute.
Plenty children. Nobody.
It gotta be Anthony Gay. There you go. Man, Anthony Gay, the man, he more than man to go make attention right now. Anthony Gay. We talked to a few friends who were in the room when President Weah conceded. If you are not paying attention to what we are doing, then
I'm listening 100%. I'm listening.
Okay, because you are keeping conversation somewhere else. The guys that were in the room with President Weah, they say he was surrounded by his adjutants. And most of them were saying, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. They say he looked up to them and said, listen, we shouldn't be in this position in the first place. If you have done what you were supposed to do, we wouldn't be here now. I would take the bull by the horn and I will call Joseph Boakai and concede. So, Anthony, we're talking about, is he now going to be bullish on leadership? He's a competitor. He had done this before. Do you think George Weah 2.0, based on what you just heard and what you heard from his war room, do you think he would be a better leader second time around?
So the circumstances here, first and foremost, it is good to see the competitiveness of our political arena. President Weah declaring that he's going to contest in 2029 should be welcomed by any Liberian who believe in politics and believe in competitiveness. I won't sit here to say, oh, President Weah should now run. However, President Weah will be running against his own record. He will be running against what he did in the last 6 years, and Liberian will be looking to see whether or not you make the necessary adjustments and all of that. We have not heard President Weah publicly speaking to recognize some of his shortcomings in his 6 years. We are not seeing that yet. Whether you're going to do those things, that is yet to be determined. Merger coming together, yes, there is no one political party that I have the opportunity to have won the presidency since 2005. All political parties as per 2005 to now that have won the election in Liberia, some way, somehow, form some kind of merger or coalition. And that has been the case so far. No one has been able to break that tie since Taylor. So it is a good thing for Liberia. Very good thing for me. I don't see it as a challenge. Yes, President Weah being in the race, like Mr. Eastman said, will have an impact on every political party, but that does not take away that politicians should not go above and beyond to showcase what they have to offer. And I can tell you for a fact, Mr. Cummings has what it takes to move Liberia forward. He had outlined things. Part of the challenges that we have, it came from us. It did not come from outside of our party. Is our own shortcomings. Is things that we should have done we did not do. It is not because of the Liberian people. I'm not going to sit here and pretend as though the Liberian people didn't give us a chance. We did not give ourselves a chance because we did not position ourselves in a way that the Liberian people would have seen to elect us to lead our nation. And I think going forward, that's what we will display, and that's what we have started already. And you're going to see in the coming days, Mr. Cummings having another, interview and stuff like that. So the engagement, reaching out to the people, making sure that people understand, and our messaging remain constant and simple to the limit that people understand. So yes, we welcome this competitiveness. We want it because we need to elevate the conversation so that currently what we have, 50% of the population of Liberia cannot afford to buy 25 kg bag of rice that costs $15 US. If that is not an issue to any Liberian, they should wake them up, because that is the problem today. That 50% of the population of Liberia cannot afford to buy 25 kg bag of rice. They are buying the backups.
We got 2 minutes, real quick, and I want a yes or no. If now that former President Weah has said that he's running, would Cummings drop his presidential bid and he was chosen or asked to run as number 2? Will you support him running as number 2?
First and foremost, Mr. Cummings would not drop a presidential bid because somebody think he should. He's a Liberian. He's a person who has his own desire, and it's his constitutional right to want to seek the presidency. Nobody run to be a vice president. I've never seen any vice president around the world who said, oh, I ran to be a vice president. Matter of fact, you don't even compete to be a vice president. You must be paid by the running mate, by the presidential candidate. And that pick is a privilege. Jeremiah Kun did not go around seeking to be a vice president. He was called upon. Joe Biden was called upon. I mean, the list goes on. So let us not sit here and bring back the same narrative. Oh, Mr. Cummings will go as a VP. Mr. Cummings did not come here to say you want to run as a VP. However, if there is a merger where there is a clear understanding, there is what they're going to do and what not going to do, whatever decision he takes, if I found that decision being right with my conviction, that is up to me to make that decision. But until then, I hold that talk.
Thank you. The General, Gabriel Carter, welcome to the show.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. I've been away for a while, but it's good to be back here and joining you guys. Yep.
Yes, we got an invoice in the back. Your bill you have not paid for all those times you pile up, but talk to us in the 2 minutes that we have here. If you obviously President Weah have had announced that he's now in the race, he's in it. And if you were to put a perfect ticket together, how will you construct that ticket?
Yeah, and I think this is the trending topic right now that is, a momentum kind of shift towards the CDC. But I think some of the points that I would like to make, Anthony Gay has made that already, right? Meaning, first of all, let me clarify this fact. Uh, this whole narrative that Mr. Cummings, presidency, whether he's going to go he's going to run for president because of CDC coming in the race, that is not a thought we should even be entertaining. He has been a presidential candidate, and I believe going forward he will continue to remain a presidential candidate, regardless who comes in the race. That convention was an invitation. That speech that he gave, that specific comment, should not be taken as literally. Meaning I will go as a cowboy. Meaning this is somebody. I think the way we should look at it as is someone saying, "I am looking to collaborate." Right. I think that's how we should look at it. But that doesn't mean he's going to, you know, trying to put himself as a VP. And I think Anthony said it, you have to get picked as a VP, right? So that's the point I wanted to clarify. The other point here that I wanted to make, and I think Anthony alluded to that as well. Whether this is Weah, whether he continued to, pursue his presidency in his 2.0, to run again, or the CDC or the ANC, what the Liberian people need to, make their decision on is basically the record of CDC. You know, listen, and this is why we need to take this thing out of you know the way we understand it as we call it as an intellectual, right? We know that Weah isn't the person we want back in there. You and I and everybody else knows that, the intellectual community, right? I think his strength lies within the popularity, right? And we need to segment the two, right? Do we want somebody running because they're popular, knowing very well the record that they had? And Anthony said it clearly. He's going to be running, CDC is going to be running on a record. And I can tell you the record that they have. 3 people were sanctioned under the administration, right? There was the whole Kush boss thing started under that administration, right? You can look at the failure of that administration and tell yourself specific, you here are the intellectual to decide whether this is somebody you want coming there. Forget his popularity and his soccer, stardom that he's attained. We can give him that. But this is not a presidential candidate. Yes, he has his right to come and contest, but from the record that he has left in his first term, this is not somebody the Liberian people want. The CDC, I mean, I would say this quickly in our land as well. Unity Party, I think they have given CDC Weah the zeal, for lack of better words, to say that he want to come back in his race because of what they're doing, right? He looked at what the United Party has been doing. And he has made his mind and said, listen, these people, I can do better. Because what they have done all along is compare themselves to Weah, right? This is a party that came to power and said, we are the rescue mission. But you are here supposed to be the A student, comparing yourself to a D student all along. So the D student is now looking at you and saying, if you're an A student, you're comparing yourself to me, I have the chance to come out and do better because you're now putting yourself on the same level, right? So this coming election shouldn't be about this two party. We know their record already. We know CDC record. We're seeing United Party record. And I think there's a time for a third lane, a third party to come here and do something that has never been done. I yield. Thank you.
Yeah, but Mr. Carter, let me ask Mr. Carter one question, please.
1 minute. I'm coming. And then we'll go to the next one. I'm coming to you for a few seconds. Mr. Carter, as a political strategist, can you separate? It's a numbers game. Can you separate the popularity from the electoral process and win?
And listen, that is a great question. I'll be very quick here. And that is a great question. And this is why we all suffer, right? When I mean we all suffer, what do you consider yourself, intellectual or someone who, the average voter, right? We all suffer because you on the intellectual block will not put somebody like that in power. Whereas the people who are the average voter, they're not looking at the way we critique things, right? So from a political strategy standpoint, if you, let's say CMC or even ANC, you're looking at a candidate like that who's popular, your biggest strategy should be, how do you pop the balloon of that popularity? How can you counter that popularity to make it irrelevant to the Liberian people? Because that's the only strength CDC has. That's the only strength. So if you can pop that balloon of the popularity, you give yourself a better chance. Thank you.
Isma, real quick, then let
Yes,
Anthony take us home. Then we'll go to the next topic.
Yeah, Mr. Carter, I enjoy your points, but I want to tell you that your argument you're making that he's not electable, he's not presidential quality, is the same argument they made before, and he defeated all those people who thought that way. And in fact, if you look at Liberian people, all the sanctions and all that against him, you saw his presidential
Twe, Tiaje, Koji.
Yeah, Twe. Right. And I know I'm talking about
McGill.
I'm talking about McGill. He won the election despite his sanctioning. The other boy from River says Twe. He won his election. So I'm making mention of this because I want you to understand the Liberian voting psyche, what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
All what you would think as an intellectual, the average Liberian doesn't think that way. So your whole thinking is foreign. So you have to, if you really want to know what's going to happen, you have to think like the everyday Liberian who were ready to say and vote for the man the woman who they want. And regardless of all that other things you're talking about, they don't have time for it. That's for your intellectuals.
That's where the information.
I have a pushback. I have a pushback on Jimmy's observation, Jerome.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Look, if there's anything we have to receive from 2023, I think it's very clear. Our people are becoming smarter, and 12 got elected, but CDC did not get re-elected. That is a fact. It is a fact. It's not speculation. So I think the people are not discerning, the pretenders and real contenders. Look, I welcome the former president back. Let him come. But now that he's coming into the arena, he's now becoming a politician again, and we'll not treat him as such. We are there for the same reason he is there. So we are, like our moderator said, it's on now. But we're happy that he's in the race. But there are a lot of things that we can point to for which this president did not get elected. Some of them are still happening today. The $100 million drugs, what did they do with it? So, he's coming back. We want to give him, the time to settle in. We're not starting yet, but we have a lot to talk about. I think our people, yes, to our McGill got elected. We understand that. We understand he's gearing up to become the chairman again because he believes, he can be that winning chairman. Fine. Let him come back. Koji is going to school. Let him come back. Eugene Nangwe is making the circuits. He's on the press all the time. Let him come back. Let him come back. And they were the same players that played in the arena for 2023. And look where we are.
Yeah.
And so I agree with those who say if the former president is wise enough, he would dish most of them. He doesn't need. These are excess baggages. They're parasites. And they will drag him down. So as he's coming to the arena, we'll be watching. Let him come.
Great. Let me go to Anthony.
Absolutely. And when the people can have put a ballot back right at trouble.
Mr. Gilman, 1 second. Anthony say will come later because you can talk long. Let me just say something here. All right?
Go ahead. Are you
but why you can't say something without a job?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Couple of things here. Those who talking about George Weah should just dish people and go bring new people. These are people who are opposition to George Weah. Because no good advisor or somebody who supports George Weah will tell George Weah just dish all the other people and bring new people, because as you dishing these people are going along with others. Remember that. And I did say that George Weah coming back in the race primarily affect Alexander Cummings. Alexander Cummings would have had a chance if he would collaborate with CDC and be the standard bearer. This is his last chance, to be frank with you. And this thing about Carter saying the intellectual class, you got to be careful. Let's just do that here on Liberian media. Once you come up with that phrase, intellectual class, anything you say on the radio, you're talking to yourself. The whole public will turn against you. Because the issue of classism have affected Liberia so badly in the past that it looks like lizard tail. That when a snake bites you, you see a lizard tail, you're yelling and running because you're thinking it's snake, but it's not. Even though you're speaking from a good place, but the people are reminded about their history when you come up with these intellectual class and blah blah blah.
So if the UP is paying you to advise them, they give you free money, Ali. Let me tell you this. In politics, there is no way you take the same team that made you to lose, you bring it back. Even here in the States.
Yep.
Listen to Alex Cummings. That's time I think he's not taking his own advice. You can't take the same team. You can't expect the president to come back with the same team that made him to lose the election in 2020.
But Ali, you don't want George to have a chance because he thinks Bunker is doing great.
Let me go to, listen, I think Ali has a point. Anthony, if you were, I'm talking to a lot of politicians and they are saying, if Cummings or anybody else wants to be president, it is clear former President George Weah has only one term, right? Constitutionally, he can't run anymore. So if you partner with him after the next 6 years, it is your turn.
You can't pay the poor awful. You let her get at him.
It would be a smart strategy to say, you know what, let's rally around him, make him successful as a vice president, and then the next 6 years is my turn, and I will have 12 years to go. Some people say that's a better strategy than say he is not a man, we shouldn't go after him. He is a numbskull, or he's not a leader, and this and that. You can kill two birds with one stone and be successful, Anthony.
Anthony,
you're muted.
Thank you, gentlemen. I did an analysis and I posted a link here, and I'm analyzing the possible tickets for 2029. In this analysis that I posted here, anybody you have time, you can go to it. I call it the Cummings Weah ticket. All right, configuration. You should watch it. You will like it. I talk about their ages. All right. Cummings is 10 years above Weah. Now, if Cummings agrees, once Weah insists that he should be the presidential ticket, the head of the presidential ticket that Cummings is on, is even better for Cummings. Because if Cummings is not a vice presidential candidate to Weah, then whoever becomes the vice presidential candidate to Weah, if Weah wins, that person automatically assumes the leadership of the CDC that holds around 20 to 25% that will always put them in the second round. And if the other party go with them, they will always have the chance to go to the presidency. Same thing to the Unity Party that Jeremiah Kuhn was talking about here, right? And so the best option, if Weah sticks to his decision that he will be the head of any ticket that the CDC is in collaboration with, it's best for Cummings to go in there and say, okay, I don't mind being the VP. Here's the thing. Weah can decide to resign and Cummings becomes president. Now, even if Weah does not resign, if Cummings stays around there as VP, when the 6 year is over, he's the head of a CDC. First of all, in my analysis, I said that the ANC came from the CDC. This is an established political fact. So the two of them coming together is like two children that left their parents' home and coming again, right? And so That is the options that Cummings has. Either somehow he has a ticket of a CDC ANC collaboration with other parties, and that ticket stands a better chance to win, or he is part of a ticket in which is the vice presidential candidate that we are has that is a collaboration, and once we are leave the scene, he is a political leader. Because after the 2029 election, Cummings will be around maybe about 79. So Walker is about 80 years, and he's talking about running. By then, 2030, Cummings will be around 79. He will still have a chance to run on a major party ticket that possesses around 25%, that stands a chance of going to second round. That is his only option right now.
Cummings will not be 79.
Either in 2029, if not in 2030. Anything short of that, I'm not sure how it will happen. And so that is my calculation. But if you watch the analysis, you will enjoy it. And then someone asked me the question, but where do you put we are? In an event where we are saying, okay, let me take a step back, because maybe CDC people will be pointing at the baggage of CDC. Let Cummings go number one. Let me go number two. We are setting himself up for the election afterwards to run. And and so the options are not as bright as anyone would think, other than what we know to be the fact. A CDC, ANC, and other parties like Big Brother Victor Nambwe and you or Jerome, no way you people are going to go on the Unity Party side. You would rather do business with the CDC, because you guys are friends. Your political leader Musa Bedete is friends with he's friends with Cummings. You guys can play the game. For me, who is not part of the political party politics, and as a Liberian citizen and advocate for the future of this country, what I want is whichever side wins should do right by our people. And I rest my case.
So if I may, 30 seconds here quickly, Mr. Sia and Mr. Gibbon. Look, I love this, all the different narratives that people are coming up with. What I've told my party in meeting, I can say here today. Let's compete from now to 2028. If we don't have the number to win the presidency, we can discuss merger. But until then, I'm from the school of thought of Kobe Bryant. Don't find the easy way out always. Ground, work, put in the work, do what you can. You got 2026. You are in the middle of 2026. You got 2027. You got entire 2028. If by 2028, as a political party, you don't have a president that you think, you can captivate at least 30 to 35% of the vote in first round, then guess what? You can start negotiating your way. But until then, right now, it is premature to start negotiating your way, because I can tell you from 2025 to now, it's 20 years, right? Plus, Liberia, in 1979, we had an issue of rice. Since 1979, this four-letter word, we have not found solution to it. Liberia possesses up to 46% of the rainforest of West Africa. Rice is our staple food. We are unable to feed ourselves. Two things rice need: sunlight and water. Do we have both things? Yes, we have the rainfall and the sunshine in Liberia, and we also have the forest. We need to campaign that today, half of the population of 5.6 million Liberians cannot afford to buy a $15 25 kg bag of rice. They are buying rice by cups. Liberian in Liberia today, this is their reality. We have CDC, we have UP, and we have UP again. This is the circumstances of ordinary, everyday Liberian.
Excellent. Let's leave it there. Let me start the second topic here. I go to Aliu, then I'll go to Dr. Booty, then I go to Eastman. Aliu, the drug issue in Liberia, as we've been talking about it, you've been seeing what's happening. It has become a theater. And we got actors everywhere, major actors, supporting actors. We got them everywhere. The administration decided that they are going to destroy the drugs. And they began, their method of destroying the drug is burning. They said they will burn the drug. In fact, the EPS gentleman, Mr. Gay, was taunting the drug dealers or the cartel. We will burn it and we'll send you the video. Come and get us. Come, we'll be ready for you. Something that most people find to be very unprofessional and petty. But that's what they have done. Without, some people say, when the weird people were in government, the folks that laws that were set free, they arrested these folks, sent them to court, and the court asked for the evidence. And they had destroyed the evidence, and the folks said, well, if you don't have the evidence. So here we are. You think we are headed in the right way, or is this the professional way of doing it? Is it the best practice?
Mr. Gamer, put the rope on the goat, put the goat on the rope. It just means tie the goat. Whether you make video or you didn't make video, the point is the message is clear. Liberia is not a place for drug commercialization or transitory. Get the message clear. And I want to congratulate the government through the security apparatus for doing such a wonderful job. You see, I hear a lot of comments coming from angry people like Victor Nangweden. Look at the way he pump out his stuff. Just angry, you know? Yeah. You know, the security is catching the drugs. They're catching those involved. Just couple of months ago in Ohio, head of police departments in Ohio was arrested in recent time because they were part of the drug cartel. And nobody ever thought that they would be. So just because we find people in the police who are working hand in hand with drug cartel, it's not a new thing, it's not a strange thing for some of us because it happens all of the time. The people will always infiltrate and so or penetrate. But we want to thank the Liberian government for a job done well so far. We know there's more to be done. We are having hints that there are people in higher ups, even higher than those who have been sent for investigation. We are hoping that the police will speed the process of investigation up and have some of these people brought to the full force because this will help us in the fight against drug. There is no society where cartels cannot penetrate. But what do they do after? What do you do as a government after they penetrate? Is what we look at. And people ask questions: how did the drug get in the country? How did the drug get in the country? Well, you can go and ask a guy named Balewule. He'll probably give you the answer. Because the drug will get in the country. What we do when the drug gets in the country is what we're doing now. More can be done. More should be done. But bravo to the government.
Dr. Booty, we want to talk about best practice or best practices. The question more people are asking is how did the drug get in the country? Who owns it? How long has it been going? The point of entry. Ali is saying those questions doesn't matter. What matters is that you got the drug, you burn it, case closed. So no more analysis. Best practice to burn the drug. Dr. Booty, it's your turn.
No, Ali was interrupting, so I wanted to wait for him to finish his laugh. No, I think look, it's a difficult question to answer in terms of how the drugs go into the country because our borders are very they're not even borders, right? These things, Guinea, they came and took some land. The other time we're still waiting to get our land back, so we don't really have borders as a country. So it's a difficult question for anyone to answer. I think in terms of how the whole burning of the drugs situation was handled, I think the level of transparency is concerning. And just touching on the point, I'm not surprised that Mr. Ability will hold his own bag out of fear that people could implicate him by putting drugs. You guys live in America. Those are things that police officers do. Some corrupt officers do all the time to get some black people to go to prison and stuff. So it's not something that is from Mars or something like that. It's something that's possible if you want to try and get rid of a political opponent. That's an easy way to do it. Just put some drugs in his bag and say, hey, they may get drugs. But yeah, again, in terms of how it was done, I don't believe it was done very transparent. I think there were opportunities for the government to prove to the Liberian people that they're serious about this and bring some of the civil society groups into the conversation so that they could be there to verify that this was done and done properly. I'm gonna end on this because I don't want to talk too long. I know Mr. Kamara is looking at his watch, but I just hope that all of the police officers who were there at the burning incident that they were tested afterwards, because I'm sure the smoke from that thing made some of them so high they probably didn't even know what to do, or but yeah, it's just something funny to close on that. Yeah.
Okay, let me go to Eastman. Eastman.
Yes, sir.
Here we are. Some folks are saying, the conspiracy theories are out there. What they were burning were flowers, a lot of stuff. We don't know whether it was actually cocaine. What was the process? How do we determine whether what they were burning were cocaine? All of it. To avoid all of that, don't you think that there should have been another way, or what would you have done?
When you say another way of disposing of the drugs, or what are you saying exactly?
Yeah, even if you are disposing the drugs, how do you give the public the confidence that what you are doing is the right thing?
Transparency. That has always been the issue. Okay, and what the public wants to know is the chain of handling. From where did it come, where did it go, and who disposed of it. I think if the government were communicated that may be very convincing. That here is what we captured. Here's the person that signed for it. Here is where it went. Here the person that signed for it. Here it is now about to be disposed. Here's the people that signed for it. So there will be clarity. But definitely we need transparency in these things. But to your other question, first of all, you want to ask, why is Liberia vulnerable to drugs, especially these trafficking, large amount of drugs? Liberia sits at a strategic location between Latin America and Europe. Okay, before the war, they used to fly from Brazil to Monrovia. That was the shortest distance across the Atlantic. So that strategic location is one of the reasons. Two, we have a long coastline with limited maritime surveillance. How many patrol boats do we see around our coastline? We hardly have any Coast Guard boats. I think during dole time we had about 3, but I haven't heard about it very many in recent years. Okay, so that long coastline and no for surveillance is easy. It's porous. Small boats can get through. Okay, and even all our borders are sort of porous. So the Guinea border, Sierra Leone border, Ivory Coast border. From the tradition, but our people are used to crossing the borders without any major, hindrance. So another thing is we have high unemployment in the country. When you have high unemployment, people will take risks that they wouldn't ordinarily take. So that is another contributing factor. That is why we if they don't deal with this drug, it can be devastating because of the level of unemployment and the poverty within the country. It can completely destabilize the country. And then we also have corruption, which exists within our customs, our ports, our security institutions. We know about the bribery that is consistent. We see it every day on the streets. People plying the streets. We have to give people tips and whatnot. So we know it exists. So, and then we know there is a regional criminal network operating across West Africa. We have seen that, and they moved from certain locations. Now they are operating in West Africa. So we're aware of that. So that's why we see all this going on. So when you have large consignments coming in, it could come from maritime, it could be from the air, it could be from the land, it could be from small boats, private aircraft. There's a reports of aircraft leaving. We don't even know what they're taking from one of those mines. They leave without any surveillance. Nobody knows what they're taking. So we are very vulnerable to this, and we give the government a hand for confiscating these ones, catching these ones, but the real thing, who do they bring to justice? Because if you bring no one to justice, those cartels and those pockets of cells, they just be dormant and they will rise again. So if you don't bring anyone to justice, in other words, it's not over. It's just halfway done. Until you bring people to justice, it's gonna persist.
Great. Let me go to Gabriel Carter. In a society where everything is suspicious, the conspiracy theory, some people expected that transparency would be the ultimate. You have to have the press involved along everything and not just call them and say, "Y'all come, we're going to burn the drug," but like it's a chain of command, chain of transfer, or the entire process through the media. Nobody did that. You just call them to come witness the burn. So folks are saying, you call us to this party, but how sure are we that what we are witnessing is the real deal? How do we know the quantity is all here? How do we justify you got tons of cocaine here? None of that stuff. So, what would you have done?
Yeah, and this is a very complex situation. You know, I don't want to go dig through the whole process. I think people have elaborated on that in terms of the misstep that were taken. I believe there was a house in what is it, Crossville, or the one by that's
Royceville.
Royceville. We don't up to now we don't know what happened to the house. Who owns that property? Apparently there was some high level people connected to that. But here's what I want to say. We have to let's commend this government, the fact that they've taken this action, whether they got help by the international partner to be able to seize this amount of drugs. We should commend them on that, right? Now, in terms of the step they took after that whole process, I think that's what everybody has a problem with. This is bigger than any party. So I don't want to make it about party, this party. This is bigger. This is the future of our country, right? Every country, its ability to continue in perpetuity depends on the future of those kids coming up in the country, right? If we're having that level of drug coming up in our country under two successive administration, that means there is either a lack in our security apparatus, right, to stem that out, right, or there is a deliberate intention to weaken the future of our country because once these drugs start getting into the hands of the streets, the kids out there, it's going to every one of us going to have an impact on it, right? So I want to commend them on that. The point that I think everybody have said here that I'm a little taken aback is the process in terms of how they were transparent to burning that level of drugs, right? We don't know what they're going to do with the guy that they arrested for lack.
What happened to him?
Internet, it ran out of data.
Yeah, go to the next person.
The man ran to the data. Anthony Gay, let's go.
That data, they got there and they listen to you, so gotta be
Oh,
careful.
man.
Anthony, you got 2 minutes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Gayman. Look, when it comes to the drug issue, this is beyond politics. This is the image of our nation. This is the future. This is. Mr. Carter, you want to continue your point? You want to conclude? We can't hear you. All right, let me continue. So the thing here is, like Mr. Carter said, recognition to the government.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Sorry, I kind of mistakenly dropped. Let me just land this. This is, as I said, this is beyond politics. This is the future of our country. For me, I think, as I said, the point that I was making here before I got disconnected is the transparency in terms of the process leading up to the burning of the drugs, right? The other question is, what are they going to do with the guy who got arrested? I think we should, I can't tell them what to do, but from what we have seen here in the West, you can interrogate that guy, the person who was arrested, that if there were any people higher up who were implicated in that, he would talk. If that means torturing him, do that, right? And once you go through the court, bury that guy under the jail for the rest of his life. Seriously. Send a message to the cartel. They're sending a message to us. Send a message to them. And if they want war, you're a sovereign nation. Let them bring it on. That's how it will go. Thank you.
Mr. Gay.
Mr. Carter, I don't think I'll be
Gay.
touching with the investigator, but anyway.
Anthony,
Yeah.
under international law, any information that is gathered through torture is inadmissible.
It's illegal. Yeah. Yes.
Go ahead, Rieko. You got 2 minutes.
Yeah, I would disagree with my senior man over there, but yeah, don't torture nobody. I wrote a whole article about torture. So. But here's the thing, the circumstance here with the whole drug is a collective nationwide effort for we as a Liberian, even ordinary citizen. If you out there, you have any tip, reach out to the security, give them that tip, because guess what? The more you see in the street today, called Zuko. It just few months or year from now on, one person in your family will become one. It beats my imagination to find out in Zweju City, there are 8 communities that are identified as Zuko community. 8, now 1, now 2, now 3. In the southeast. So it's just not Maserado issue. So this whole issue with cocaine beyond Kush is concerning. Our national security need to beef up. The government need to invest enough money in national security because our borders are vulnerable. Mr. Even though we're talking about the waters, our waters are vulnerable. Our airspace vulnerable. We don't have no Navy. We don't have no Air Force. That is a reality, right? So our national security should be a very important area that the government spend good money. So look, we can play politics all we want, but when it comes to this drug issue, every Liberian needs to chip in. When you see something, say something. Make sure that the information get to the rightful authority. This issue here now, Mr. President, I personally is challenging you that muster the political courage that folks will be held accountable, because the fact that these police officers were not even handcuffed, nothing, they just called in here and there, you dismiss the other person, you dismiss, you other suspend them. This is not enough. A suspension or resignation, that does not excuse you from prosecution. And you need to set an example. If you want to come back, if you want to, like Mr. Cummings always said, if you want to make my job harder to become president of the Republic of Liberia, do the right thing. Just do the right thing for the Liberian people. If that means that he will not be elected president, that's fine. But at least you are doing the right thing for Liberia. We're not going to sit here and play politics and say, let the government fail, and so that we can come into power. But no, fight this drug the right way and put people to jail.
Thank you. Dr. Moody, end this on this, and then we'll start with our time is running out here.
No, yeah, I think I'll end and I'll say goodbye as well, because it's quite late on my side and I need to jet. But look, I think everyone have said things that we all can agree with. I think I echo and I didn't say this in my first comment on this, what Mr. Carter said, that obviously we should commend the government and the joint security for being able to arrest, because $300 and something million worth of drugs, that's a lot, right? That's a lot. I was, and I like to confess, I was calculating in my head, saying, they're going to give me $2 million of that money, but no, it's a lot of drugs, and the fact that they were able to grab it is kudos to the security forces. However, the way that they've handled things afterwards, we need to call them out. And I echo Mr. Gay's point. There has to be, I wouldn't go as far as Mr. Carter, but I understand the sentiments. Right? I understand the sentiments. We need to be tough on the drug thing. We need to know whomever is even sitting near it. Even if you were just in a car with somebody when you were passing there, we need to talk to you. Because while you'll be sitting in the car, something went inside, you can't tell somebody. We need to talk to everybody, because the message has to be clear. Look, we've said this. One of the things I will point out in this on point is we've dealt with this drug issue for years. We've talked about the young people in our country and how this thing is damaging their future, and how unfortunately our leaders, irrespective of what government it has been, you know, have failed the Liberian people to deal with this issue. So we're calling on the president, Mr. President, Mr. Gay shouted you out, and I'm sure Mr. Kamara will take the message to you. Please, I know you owe. I know you'll not be around much longer, but don't worry about yourself. Worry about your grandchildren. They have a country to, because if everybody start doing drugs, the crime rate is going to go up because these guys will need to find ways to pay for drugs. They don't have jobs, so they will start stealing, and they'll go steal from your grandchildren too. So if you love your grandchildren, I hope you do, then do it for them. Make a Liberia that is safe and free from drugs, that they can live in and be happy to be part of, that we can all be proud of the country, and at least we can, you say you own Security Council, you want to spend all our money there to get on Security Council, but you're not securing the country that you're in. So what's the point of being on Security Council? Because when you go on Security Council, you should have expertise, to share with people on the council that, oh, let's do it this way and let's do it that way. But your borders, Guinea King, I keep going back to the Guinea King and took our land. Ali then collected our land up to now. We'll go back for a year. Ali sitting down in the show, just walking free. There's a cat I say, "I'm touch Ali," but that was. But anyway, on a serious note, look, guys, it's been a great. It's been a great time to be. Unfortunately, I have to jet, but this is an issue that we should keep on. It's not just today. I think next week we should talk about it again until we can see movement in our country in the right direction, bringing people to justice. We want to see people arraigned. And something I want to say, Mr. Game, before I go, I think you mentioned this at the start, and we glossed over it, but I think we need to go back to it. These guys, because the drugs are the evidence that you're supposed to take to court, right? Drugs are supposed, because you seize the drugs, those are evidence. You've just burned the evidence. How are they hoping to prosecute people when the evidence is gone? I don't know. For you guys who the lawyers in the room, maybe you can help us.
I'm not a lawyer, but yes, what they do, they do something called a representation of the evidence. They take samples here and there.
But listen, guy, we don't have time. Let's do the real quick.
No, okay. So anyway, great show, guys. I hope you continue. I'm having to jet off now, but yeah, it's been great being here today, and see you guys next Sunday.
Thank you very much. Let me go to somebody who I've not talked for a while. He's in the background talking. That's Victor Namwe. That's the reason we don't do this, because they keep the conversation somewhere else. Let me go to Mr. Otto Eastman.
Yes,
President Joseph Waka have taken action, right, against some government officials, and he have fired. He suspended some, and some people are still questioning. These are not like the senator from Sano County said, we are looking for the group, or you give me up by play. We know who the major players are, and you just arrested the small people. So now the president have gone out and suspended some people, fired some folks. What do you think about his action?
Well, I show pause when it comes to that, and I will tell you why. I want them to take action against the culprits and all those who are found, guilty or in connection with this drug trafficking. However, whatever you do, you have to do it according to proper procedure. I don't believe in going, taking a different procedure for unique cases. We should do it all because those people have rights, and they shouldn't violate their rights. And before we do anything, so I would have thought a suspension would have come first, suspension without pay or something like that. But the complete dismissal is almost like a verdict has already been rendered. And this is what I want. We want him to take action, and swift and fast action. But by dismissing somebody, it almost has you are convinced now that these people are guilty. You remember what happened with
but Eastman, real quick, what's about the part that when you sign that green letter, it says you work at the will and pleasure of the president? What happens to that?
Well, some of these places are not political appointeeship. They are not. They are regular civil servants, people in the police force. are not political appointees per se. They are part of the security forces. So if I just we have to protect the rights of the people. At the same time, we have to take swift action. What I believe should be done, especially now, what he has the power to do, is invest in a particular court, in a particular case, have special handling of drug cases like this that would expedite the processing of these cases. That's what should be done. Have people with the requisite expertise, specialized expertise, who will not be preoccupied with other activities, or made basically to process drug trafficking in cases, and that is the best way to expedite it. But so they're taking this action, firing some people. In one way, we look at it as good, but let's make sure we do it properly. And that's all. And my comment on it is
Great. Let me go to Anthony C. Anthony C. The public is having issue because the police chief said there are people at the highest level in government involved. And when you tell us that people in high places, then you arrest police officers, isn't this why people are saying, but these are not the people in high places you're talking about? Who are those people in high places?
And that is the question we are asking the government. And Jerome, be careful. I am not Anthony. I am Anthony.
Anthony, excuse me. Yeah, okay, yes. Anthony, excuse me.
Yeah.
I would just say Mr. C. Go ahead.
Yeah, before you get in trouble.
That's
because
right.
I'm gonna be the only Anthony you know.
That's right.
So yeah, that is the question we are asking. And the police chief having to be a personal and good friend of mine. But when it comes to, discussing our country, no friendship. All right. So he said two things, and these are two major allegations. And let us establish the facts here. He is leading this investigation. He has all the information. He has all the intelligence. He mustered the courage at a press conference when the whole world was listening to say some senior government officials are involved. What that tells me is that they have looked at the facts, and the facts convince him and all of law investigation professionals, as well as the investigators, that they are certain those officials are implicated, and the evidence, they have those in their possession to prove it. And that is why he said it. Another one, he mentioned the media. We are in the media. I'm in the media. He said some members of the media are being bribed by the cartel. I am asking Gregory Crewman, just as any other media professional or practitioner, asking, Gregory, name those media institutions, name those media individuals, because you have the state authority to investigate, and you are leading this investigation. Why will you hesitate after over 57 days of investigation? 57 days have passed. And now you're telling us some media people are involved, and you call the names of the media institutions, indict them, and let them be investigated and prosecuted. You can't come and say some media people are involved and you refuse to name them. And here's the thing that struck the core. When he said that, the information minister, who is not an investigator, who is not an intelligence officer of the country, came to make a clarification of the government lead investigation pronouncement. And then he said, oh, what Minister Jerry Lemepia said was what I actually intended. I disagree. He spoke on the basis of the intelligence that he has in his possession. So at first, because it has become a pattern now, when the kings, Paul King and what is the other guy named Peter King, video evidence showed that the drugs were being loaded from their house. The government danced around this thing here for over 1 month. This guy literally carried himself to the police. He was not arrested. Drugs is a non-bailable offense, the highest degree. So that guy should have been arrested on day one. The Kings, they never did it. Up to now, the guy who is the head of that institution is yet to be arrested. So you see, it tells us that when those involved are close to power, this government is not investigating and is not willing to act, as it happened with the Kings, because the Kings are connected to the government. One of them having to be on the board of, I think, NOCA. It was like after 3 to 4 weeks later, before it was Martin Colley who even recommended that the president should suspend the man. That was when it came to the mind of the president, who took drug tests, who declared drugs as a national emergency before he could act to suspend him. And this guy basically walked in. He took himself in. We don't know where he is, whether he's even in jail. And then to take it even further, one of the police leaders there was giving the man a comfort, according to the police chief himself, that they were giving it, he received 10,000 bribe to provide comfort. Here's my information. When the police chief tells you comfort, this guy, the police have a cell. When they arrest you, they put you in a cell. Instead of that individual remaining in the cell, they take the guy from the cell in the middle of the night, and he will take that guy to his personal office for the guy to stay there and remain comfortable. Jesus. That is the comfort he was talking about, because he received bribe. And that guy is more close to the police chief than any other person that I know in the security apparatus.
So does that implicate the police chief?
Yes. The guy who took bribe is very close to the police chief. It was the police chief who even brought him back. I'm talking about Gregory Coleman, who brought him back.
Yep.
When the CDC left, when CDC came, he was not there. Gregory Coleman brought him back. This
They
is
all right now, Anthony.
Well,
okay, your name and where you calling from?
This is Galabo Gongo calling from the state of Pennsylvania.
Go ahead.
Particularly the city of Law, Philadelphia. I just want to make a quick observation. You know, guys, I want to take you back on Gregory Coleman's statement. Go back and watch the video when he appeared before the Senate. It's not the first time he made that statement that higher ups in government were linked to the drug issue. Go back and watch his appearance before the Senate. He said the same thing. But at that time, they were still doing preliminary. There has been no arrest. They said they were still, talking to people. That's one thing to remind ourselves. And prior to that, one of the IT head of DEA also made a statement at the same Senate that drug is serious money. And he said the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, somebody there, for all the 3 branches of government that are involved in drug issue in Liberia, he said it. We are seeing Gregory's statement at the Ministry of Information. For me, knowing what I read about, the diary of retired CIA officers, I see it like a sublime threat to the higher ups, because there has been public call and repeated calls for Gregory to be dismissed or distance himself from the investigation. I've been one of those who have made several Facebook posts on that. Okay? I think he was sending a sublime message to them that if you get me dismissed or removed from the investigation, I will call you out too. I think he was sending a serious threat to them so that those in higher places who have the ears of the president can say, hey, let's keep Gregory there, because otherwise you boss us, you open the tap on all of us. And I think that's a serious message Gregory sent to them. He was not more interested in calling our enemy. He just wanted to protect himself. That's how I see it. I could be wrong, but that's my interpretation of his action. The second thing I want to raise, because you guys are closing this, on the question of the investigation, I've talked to a couple of friends in the past few days. Actually, I spoke to a lawyer, one particular lawyer who is representing some of the accused. And he was so discouraged today that at least 2 persons, 2 of the accused or those who've been arrested are now seeking plea bargain. And their plea bargain condition is that they should not be prosecuted. And his understanding of why his clients are doing that, they have been told by the higher ups that if you reveal, then nobody will be in the system to protect you. So just see plea bargain will work behind the scene, and they don't have to prosecute you. In return, you provide information to the security, which could be, useless information. It may even be things they know already. So there are a lot of stuff going on behind the scene. And when I spoke with this lawyer today, who has worked with the police and that he's discouraged. He thinks we are headed to the same scenario where it will be like walking nowhere in this whole cocaine issue. Nothing will come out of it.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what we are talking about when the public that you're supposed to defend, when they have no interest, no confidence in the system. This is what happened. We have seen this movie over and over and over, and we know how it's going to end.
Can I come in for a second?
Jerome, if I may,
yes.
I think Kalabu made a very good point there, right? You remember when this government, the president in particular, started suspending people who were in tenure positions.
Mm-hmm.
After those people were suspended, the very government will go and negotiate with them, pay them off, and then that was it. And then they replace them with people from the Unity Party. That's the point, because the government has a history now that some of the higher ups that Gregory Coleman is referencing, they might be striking a deal to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in the back end, and then maybe that's it, and they will never be arrested and prosecuted because the government has a history of that. And for those who are commending the government, for these low-level people, they are arresting, and we have not seen any arrest. We just hear the announcement. These are criminals that must be arrested, and they should be seen. Just as when they arrested, what's it called, Bucket Ray, we saw him.
Bucket Rock.
Yeah, Bucket Rock. When they arrested the beginning and the old man, then we saw them being thrown in the pickup bus. Back. We want to see these individuals being handcuffed. They are criminals. All right. They are aiding and abetting or drug trafficking. That is a crime against the state. We want to see that. We deserve that. To project that this government is serious. You tell us about a police guy who took bribe. Where's the arrest? Just the pronouncement? Well, if the only pronouncement you want to be telling us, then all other person being arrested for drugs, let us just get pronouncement. So there cannot be one standard for the ordinary man and then another standard for those who are actually doing much to contaminate our society with the drugs. And so I think this government, the government does not deserve any commendation right now. And here's the other part before I leave. If you look at the budget, even the Ministry of Information has an intelligent budget. The NSA has intelligent budget. The police has intelligent budget. Fire service has intelligent budget. You want me to continue going? The police has intelligent budget. The EPS has intelligent budget. The Ministry of Presidential Affairs have intelligent budget. Do you know why we have the drugs arrested today? Because the American provided the intelligence, not from any of our security agencies who have received money or been budgeted money for intelligence. They did not provide any intelligence. All along, they've been covering it up for their own reward. And so for me, I don't give the government any credit. If I'll get any credit, it would be Liberian people who are mounting the pressures every day. The pressure on them right now, that's why even Gregory Coleman is telling us highest up are involved, and he can't call the names, and the president is not even acting. He has the intelligence. If Gregory Coleman is saying that, Gregory Coleman might have told him why he's refusing or hesitating or wasting time to act.
Yeah, but see it real quick. What if the guys who supposed to be the plea bargainer go and they say, listen, you don't like Samuel Tuer. I will mention Samuel Tuer name so you can derail the whole thing and go like this, because they have said it, it's a pretext now. They're saying they are going to go back to the former officials. They too are involved. Are you seeing this case being built as though like they're doing? If you are in your bind, you just go for the same old playbook. You go after the former officials. You don't
And
think that
Jerome,
could be done?
Jerome, if the evidence is there to prove it, so be it. That's what we want, right? If former government official were involved, stay involved, yes, go there and arrest them and then take them to court, present the evidence. The evidence established that they were actually involved. If you have the facts and the evidence to prove it, so be it. And then I call on the president to his son has been accused. Why is Gregory Coleman wasting time to bring an indictment against Jojo Walker? Why don't we even have an investigation going on? The very police director was investigated by the Ministry of Justice when this allegation of bribery came in. He was investigated in no time. There was a statement that no, he did not do anything wrong. So the same Jojo Walker should be investigated because Jojo Walker has been accused. It's in Jojo Walker's best interest for there to be an investigation to establish that he does not have any hand in this. It is just good for him that happens, and I expect the president to order that investigation, or it shouldn't be the president, the justice minister should
Let me close, man. I gotta go.
do so.
Great. Kamara, coming to you, but Victor have not spoken for a while because he was talking.
Let me just close. Victor was
Yeah, give me the agreement, and
Victor, go ahead.
this will be my
Do your
closing.
closing. Do your
Yeah,
closing.
Aliu always leave when he closes. You gotta wait. So let me close. Thank you very much. Look, we're talking about drugs, but we didn't talk about Melvin Manway, the guy who was being accused of the brown top. I thought Ali was going to talk about him. Who they say sent his lady in the hospital after consuming brown top, and the man said, "I know brown top that just is natural ability." But anyway, I see my Liberian sisters all over social media. You understand me saying all kinds of stuff. I don't even know what brown top. You don't know? You do know what brown top is?
No, only today I heard it from Martin Colley. I never.
And now
never
the
heard
message. The message he told something.
Jerome Sideline, you know Joe what brown top is. I saw you.
Right now, we checking Jerome pocket.
Who talking to you?
Oh, the jacket way more. You got some brown tie in the pocket. But anyway, no, it's been great being with you guys. The government, most of you have spoken, especially Anthony. Look, we have the June 8th arrest. You know, understand me? 237 kilograms, I believe. And then the recent one, 3,900 kilograms, almost over 4 tons. We're not getting any transparency. We don't even understand what they're doing. You know, after so much push by platforms like here, FOL and other places, they finally come out and give us these names. They just mix them up. You know, we don't even know what is what. You know, so much confusion. The CMC was going to come out on September 5th, and we are saying the government needs to do more. We think what they've done is the first step, hopefully, towards something really serious. But they keep giving us, the babless, so to speak. Gregor Coleman said it like someone pointed out here way back, way forward, from the LDEA, one of the officers in charge. He said that a long time ago. Gregory Coleman is just affirming what the man told us a long time ago, and then the president fired him for that. Is he going to fire Gregory Coleman? Maybe not, because Gregory Coleman is allegedly in the center of all of this. And people are saying, it's like you send Gregory Coleman, people to find the needle, and Gregory Coleman is standing on the needle, and everybody passing around here looking for the needle. How are they going to find it? So maybe Ali can explain this to us, but we'll be watching. Within the president, he went and took drug tests to demonstrate zero tolerance towards drugs. And here we are, almost 3 weeks running. And he has said, nothing. Now his son, and his nephew, BJ Samugai's son, are coming into the picture. He has said nothing yet. I would expect that for someone who had demonstrated zero tolerance, by now to set a special prosecutor and look into this and say, now my son, if my son is, I want the Lord. He has said nothing. Instead, he's giving us a little red meat, fire Michael and all these people here and all of that. He's not ready. But our notice remains. If they don't do anything, we're still coming out. But it's been a great show. Finally, Musa Ability wrote his regular letter. He's pointing out something which is lost in all of this conversation. The victims of all of this, the young people. We all get caught up in all of this, where the Gregory Coma going, all of that, but nobody's saying anything about the young people. They need rehabilitation. There are a lot of young people in the streets who need help. So we hope at the end of all of this, that does not get lost in the conversation. We need to find a way to rehab the young people who are losing their lives to this carnage. But thank you for the opportunity. Great show.
Thank you very much. Let me go to Aliu. You can do your closing and then you can flee.
Yeah, it's as always, it's been a great show. Let me start by thanking President Joseph Jimap Walker for being such
And then you're gonna run away.
For being such an example to what a real leader is, what good leadership is, something that the generation after him could emulate if they are learning well. JMB fired people because of the information that he had on his desk. It's based on the fact and the evidence.
Since when? Information he has since when? September of 2025.
The gravity of the investigation, the evidence compiled to the president's office, determined what kind of punishment was leveled. Those who were fired and subsequently directed straight to the courts for prosecution. We're talking 19 people are currently held in prison. 19 of the 18. If you're talking about people responsible for intelligence and highway, and you say they're nobody, and then think again, because they have more power than you can even imagine. They run the country because they run the highways. They can determine how much drug comes in and whether drug comes in at all. They have that capability. They have those intel and information. And so those kinds of people are very important in the area of drug cartel. And we want to say thanks to the president for doing so. Thanks to the president for also completing a very large rehabilitation facility in the Bentor area, where a lot of young Liberians who were on drugs are currently undergoing rehabilitation, and they're being treated very well. It's a world-class facility, and thanks to the Liberian government and the Ministry of Health for setting up such a program. We want to say thanks to LDEA, even though there are still work to be done, for clearing the streets. We have fewer Zogos in the streets of Monrovia and its environment for a record 5 or 6 years. We didn't see that several years ago, a few years ago, and now you can walk in the streets of Monrovia even in the evening time without being afraid of being stopped by some hungry Zogo. Liberia is moving forward with work to be done, and we acknowledge the good work that the government is doing. We hope that they do more, and we want to thank the president again for consequence. We want to thank the president for accountability, but again, I want to say to the president, let's do more, not for the critics, not for the namesayers, not for the pundits, but for the Liberian people. And we watch every day. The Liberian people are very grateful for the kind of work that Joseph Boakai is doing, and I think he's encouraged to do more. So again, thank you so much for having me, man.
Jerome, you know what is missing? And I hope he's well, but if Wallow is well, apparently he himself has given up on defending this government. We don't see him anymore.
Sam Wallow, yeah.
Sam Wallow not coming again.
Someone put a hand up. Honorable Ismail, you're closing.
Yeah, I appreciate the topics we discussed today. They're very pertinent. We are coming back in the race. I feel very good about it, and it's going to throw a new dynamic. I think we need democracy to be practiced in its fullest, and that way we'll hope to get the best leaders available. When it comes to this drug bust, I say, well, yes, we have done. But if you don't, like I said, if we don't bring anybody to book, if you don't you confiscate the money and find where the money is going, you haven't done anything. It's only going to, it's like a waterbed, when you press one side, it pops up on the other side. So it's far from being done. But we have to come in where it belongs. where commendation belongs. We must say that yes, okay, good job, but finish your job. Okay, finish your job so that our people will be safe. And and lastly, I will just say that this 2029 election will not be easy. I can already see it in the making. It's going to be one big hell of a election, which is good. This is what we wanted. I think the progressives like Mr. Nambe, they always said we needed a democracy. Yes, but democracy in itself is not perfect. But we're going to see how this thing turns out and see how we evolve with it. So I think everybody deserves a bravo. Bravo.
Thank you. Let me go to Anthony Gay, the incoming senator for Grand Jury.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Given. Yeah, this was a fascinating, conversation, and thank you, Mr. Carter, for showing up, and Mr. Ismail, been a long time, and myself for coming back to you as well. I gotta thank myself because I've been away for a very long time.
I was about to say the same about you. Welcome back.
Yeah, but I said what's going to be fascinating. I saw Mr. Sia here. He's the political
But
leader.
Anthony, there was an actual show on television that was called Welcome by Carter. It was a movie, it was a show.
Oh, I can remember that. But here's the thing. In all fairness, Mr. Sia is right when he said we shouldn't even commend this government. That's true. The intelligence did not come from our security forces. It came from international community. But I wish Mr. Kamara was going to be here. The president took a drug test to demonstrate how serious he is. But at LDEA, there are 1,000 men and women of the LDEA called action agent. Don't take my word for it. They are not on salary. There are 1,500 in total. 500 of them are on salary. The 1,000 are not on salary. How do you expect that group to function? That is the reason why we have this problem we have. Right? They are not on salary. And part of my own blood is part of that group that are not on salary. So I'm not making this up. Right? So if you have DEA that are not on salary, 1,000 of them, is a dangerous sign.
Yeah.
Is it President ready mean business for our nation? I don't think so. Another thing here is when it comes, the president is doing well. The president is doing well. Stop the hypocrisy. You are part of the problem that Liberia is going through today. Guineans stay in our country for over 3 months. They are moving around with our weapons, intimidating the locals in our area. We have people struggling, can't find food to eat in the country. We have a Salah Method Steel that operated for 20 years and claimed that they made no profit. They have 5 more years left on that contract. The president extended that contract for additional 25 years for a chicken change. Are you sitting here and acting that, we are just here, nitpicking stuff? The president signed 23 MOUs in South Korea. What becomes of those things? We're not here to joke. This is the reason why I encourage my party and my partisan. Let's go out there and educate the Liberian people. Take our time. Let them understand that, hey, you cannot be in Liberia and be buying rice by cups when you're supposed to have 100 pounds or 50 kg bag of rice in your house. If you cannot afford 25 kg bag of rice, that is a problem. In 2024, and I'll close with it, President Joseph Numa Bwaka at the ministerial complex launched an agriculture initiative that's supposed to reduce rice import by 75% in what? 5 years. 2024, 2025, 2026. Where are we on that project? They will not talk about it again. But the one that bought 285 yellow machine that has 0 tractor that will do agricultural work in Liberia. What sense does it make? So, folks, we are not here to bash the government. Everything I just talked about, these are factual stuff, and I reference things. If you don't like me, that's fine. You don't have to always agree with me. But hey, we are all Liberian, and we love our country. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Welcome back, Carter. Go ahead, Chief.
Mr. Gibbon, thank you again. As I said, thank you guys for having me on here. It's been a while, but I think it's about time that we begin to come outside. Especially the fact that we as throwing his hat back in the race. So we're going to be outside, especially for those of us on the ANC side. We're going to be outside, right? Um, there are, there's two things I want to hit home here as I close, right? First of all, the fact that is back in the race. I said this earlier, you know, we're going to judge him on his past record, and you and I both know it wasn't that good, you know. That's why he got booted out, right? The same thing with the Unity Party. We're going to hold their feet to the fire on their record that we're seeing so far. And from what we're seeing so far, it doesn't look any different from what we've seen with the CDC administration, right? So the point that I'm trying to make here is that there ought to be a change comes 2029. That is a fact, right? Now, the onus now is on the opposition to make that case for the change in 2029. So that is the case what some of us are going to be pushing for moving forward. That's why as I said, I'm back outside. The next case here is the issue with the drugs. Listen, we know this president is failing. You don't have to take my word for it. There's the yellow machine, the drug bust. There's so many things that they're not doing well so far. Hence why we have felt comfortable enough to say that he's going to come back outside to run again, right? We know that, but we got to commend them the fact that they were able to collaborate with the international partners to be given that information of the drug importers, right? And they took action. They took action. The point I think that all of us have a problem with is how they actually communicated that, right? There was still a lot of secrecy in terms of who were implicated at the higher level and what they're going to do about those things. I agree. Those people shouldn't just be dismissed. They should be brought to justice as well. You can't just go dismiss people, right? So the point here is that there is a law that we're demanding, but at the same time, moving forward, we're going to be holding either the CDC or the Unity Party feet to the fire. As far as the ANC and those in the opposition, there's a lot of work we have to do to prove our case as to why the Liberian people shouldn't vote for CDC or the Unity Party going forward. Thank you.
Well, Anthony C. Mr. Waroti Tobasi is asking, are Liberians better off today than they were yesterday? Ronald Reagan asked that question in 1980. Are you better off today than you were under Jimmy Carter? And American people said resignedly no. So if you are in the Unity Party, this question got to be hitting you hard. Are you better off today than you were under the previous administration? Answer. Mr. Sid, closing and take us home.
Thank you, Gerald, and to Tubasi said a question. There are a lot of Unity Party people who will say yes, the country is better off, and they will give you a huge list of why they think so. That remains debatable to many, and for them, it's not debatable. Whereas there are other Unity Party people who, have some questions for their own administration that they're not doing much enough. I saw a video of a Unity partisan who converted to becoming a CDC, member. I'm sure he does not feel his party is doing well enough, or maybe he's just being political. Maybe he didn't get what he wanted in the Unity Party, so he's going on the other side that stands a chance to win, maybe. Look, on the drugs thing, and I'll be short here in my closing. When the Ebola crisis came, Tiawon Gonglo was clear. He asked the president, Mr. President, this is an attack on our sovereignty. Appoint a special prosecutor to look into this matter. Tiawon Gonglo is still alive. That was an appeal to the president that he made. And he even volunteered. He said, if it were me that, I volunteer to investigate this matter, I will be glad to do so. Now, others are calling for an independent investigator in the drugs matter. An independent investigator is in the interest of the government. Now, look, members of the government have been accused, so let's bring in a neutral person to investigate, because this thing threatens not only our sovereignty, but our security and the futures of this country, especially the youth. So we shouldn't play politics with it. My good friend Gregory Coleman, who is leading the investigation, he may not be involved, but people are accusing him. So it's in his best interest to say, well, I know I'm not involved, I have no hand in this. Let's bring in an independent person who is not a member of the government to investigate, will provide all the intelligence and all the evidence we have in our possession. Let the proper person lead this particular investigation so that we can be able to identify the individual in senior government position that he referencing and make a recommendation to the president to do so, right? And when similar issue happened in the United States yet, I remember Momba Molo. I mean, what's the name? Gabriel, maybe you can help me here. One Mullah, right? He was appointed as the special prosecutor.
Robert Mueller.
Robert Mueller.
Mueller.
Yep, Robert Mueller, right.
Yeah. Robert Mueller was appointed as a special prosecutor. He was an independent person that did the investigation and provided his findings. It is in our best interest because the president is clear that drugs is an emergency. He took drug tests, and his latest speech was clear that there will be no high out for anybody whatsoever. And that should start with the president's own son. Then I will be sure that the president actually meant what he said. Until then, the fact that people are accusing the government of shielding some of its senior officials who are involved, whatever investigation the government will do, people in the opposition and even independent people will not believe that the government is doing the right thing. So I think that is a serious way to go about this. And it's not only in the interest of the government, but it's also in the interest of the country. I rest my case. Thank you. It has been a great show.
Okay, take us home.
Jerome, congrats to our boy Leonard Dudu. I think he's now the correspondent for Al Jazeera for Liberia.
Yes. He
Oh, yeah. You know, yes. I saw that, you know, he's a fellow media practitioner, you know.
Yeah.
I like that, you know. I mean, congratulations
really
to the
proud of him.
Yeah, he loves what he does, and he has been committed to the issue of reporting, you know, stories in Liberia. So it's a good thing. I hope Jerome will lobby for me to go on CNN so that I can be off. Yeah.
Well, you know,
we're getting there.
Brother, you're getting there. I mean, you see in the comment section, people appreciate your
Leonard Dudu is my godson, and I'm very glad when he was with Front Page Africa, he did a lot of work for them, and for some reason that marriage didn't end well, and he decided to go and form the Liberian Investigator, and he's doing very well at that. So, you know, when one door closes, another opens. So yes, we want to say thank you. I will be reaching out to him. Hopefully he can come on my show next weekend and we can discuss. That would be great. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. And I got Sundays up now, so I may be on point all the time. You know,
please come on.
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Kim, is Leonard dad Maka Dudu?
His father is a Ghanaian. He's in
it was my instructor in high school.
Yes.
Oh wow. This was okay. I know that. All right.
All right,
gentlemen. Oh wow!
Yeah, gentlemen,
it's good to have the Bulldog on our Sunday team. Welcome.
Yeah, he definitely will be.
Yeah, I try to bring some oxygen. Yeah, you guys been firing, but adding my own layer, you know, Babati energy will help a little bit.
He said Babati. We like it.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, is Gabriel going to be a regular too or what? I just want to know.
I'm coming outside.
He said we have brought him outside.
We have brought outside.
I said we have brought a lot of people out. Jesus.
The fight getting serious, you know. You need backup.
Yeah,
in the last 2 years, our nation have suffered, so we really need to be outside, Mr. Carol. You know, thanks for coming back.
Yeah, on that note, the song that says we are all Liberians process the broadcast right now, and bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
We are Liberians. Liberia is our home. Liberian people. They are we want. Liberia.